vitamin C right now when you go to the store? It's not happening. Everyone wants to stay alive. They know that the immune system is what's been compromised, and that's just one of the examples. So what I've been really lucky to be in this crazy position again. God's always good to me, right? Always good to me, always good to me. Because for some reason, anytime I get involved with something, it ends up being at the highest levels. So just a few days ago, I experienced something that was mind-boggling to me. And it was the fact that I had a...
You just lost him?
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah.
Right at the height of what he was about to say. We'll return right after this commercial.
Exactly.
That's how they do it. That's how they get you to watch the commercials, just like that. See if he, last time he...
I lost connection. It's probably getting back on again.
Yeah, probably so.
Willie, help me monitor people at being admitted.
Yeah, did you make me a co-host?
Yeah.
I was looking for a song before Jerry gets back on.
The doctor, a friend of mine, is about to log on too. I have one. Dr. Frankie Filo is already online. There's another doctor who's going to be participating with us.
Oh, wow.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the doctors. Welcome to everybody else.
Do you see that where they need to be admitted? I keep hitting them, but you'll need
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Yeah, open up your participant screen and you'll see it in there when somebody.
Yeah. Let me see that right.
There's none right now, but you'll see them pop up.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it before. If they use the password, do they still have to be admitted?
I don't know, but I just keep. I've admitted pretty much everybody so far.
Okay.
Maybe there's a thing on my preferences.
Let's see. Once Jerry's able to pop, as long as it doesn't go too long. I mean, he wouldn't mind. Okay. So,
Hi, Gladys.
Hi, Jonathan.
How are you?
Fine, you?
Good.
Relaxing in the pool area.
Yeah, good.
Nice place to be right now.
Yes. Can't go in, it's too cold.
It's too cold. Are you in Florida?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm in Tampa area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in St. Augustine.
Oh, okay. I've been there a lot. I love it.
Yeah, we fell in love with it 2 years ago. Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah. Awesome.
And
And
maybe
Tampa.
contacting Jerry. See
Yeah.
where he's at. Maybe his internet's.
Yeah. Dr. Jonathan, you want to
reach out to him.
Okay.
Let me reach out to Jerry real quick.
Okay, so we'll
Because I just got a text. I just got a text from the other doctor. She was ready to log in.
Yeah, so we'll probably just wait like another 2 to 3 minutes tops. But I was gonna say to Gladys. Oh, here goes Jerry. Here goes Jerry. Yeah, here goes Jerry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Where? He's not in yet.
He's coming in.
Oh, there you go.
There he is.
Jerry, you left us all hanging, man.
Oh my God. This is crazy, and I apologize, guys, but for some reason I'm being attacked by the cyber world. Anyway, but let me just say this: we got a few people on here, guys, and I apologize. That's the connection that's bad, but all I have to say is this: I would not waste anybody's time, guys. You know I'm a straight shooter. I just can't help it. You know, I blame it on my mama. I got to be an honest person, and I'm honestly one of the blessed people that I personally know. And the reason I say that is that because for some reason it always seems like anytime I get involved with something, God puts me in a position where I can really impact a lot of people. It doesn't matter if it's from hip hop, martial arts, or even anything. That being the case, Dr. Jonathan, who I know since we're 16 years old, at least Dr. Jonathan, at least I was, we're going back to the uni days, guys, and I know you're martial artists, but just like any industry, martial arts need gatekeepers. And what I mean by that is people who are going to keep a high standard and not just let nonsense happen. And a lot of nonsense has been happening throughout the martial arts industry for years. And there's a few people that need what I would consider literally help. Which way? the elders are being wiped away. And in 1 week, we lost 5 of my friends, real deal friends. And I was depressed for 10 days after that. So when it comes down to it, we want to help people live longer and live smarter. And you can only live smarter if you have some income, because sometimes you have limitations. That being the case, I'm happy to say that Dr. Jonathan exposed me to something that I knew about, but I hadn't been participating in what would be expanding my telomeres, which you find out the particulars about that. But I eat blueberries and blackberries just because I get confused which one helps expand telomeres, you know? So I've been eating tons of them. I just bought 8 of each. So if you're invited here because you're my personal friend and I believe in you, and this is a group of people that I'm sure I'm going to develop a long-term relationship with, because in a matter of hours, what has happened, meaning just a few days ago, guys, I train and I train often. So when I take something, I know if it helps or doesn't, because I'm very sensitive to that. So I'm going to start this off by just saying the truth. In 2 days of me taking the product, 2 days, I normally do my kicks. If I do 50 of them, I'm sore for 2 days. 2 days I'm sore normally. For some reason, 2 days ago, yesterday when I did my kicks, instead of doing 50, I did 75, which means that normally if I do 60, I'm gonna be sore for 3 days because 60 is not my normal regimen. Well, it feels like I didn't even work out at all. So now I'm like, wait a second, I know I'm supposed to be feeling this pain in my glutes and my obliques and my quads and so on and so forth. Where is those? The pain's not there now. Okay, that's one thing. However, for whatever it's worth.
Barry, I got, excuse me a second. I got The Rock trying to get in. He's saying he can't get in.
So let me send them the other link. Because what happened was the original link was different.
Okay.
So
let me
forward him that link, okay? And I appreciate that. These are my students from back in 1988, you know. So these people who respect my words, and it's Sunday and it's short notice because we've had some options. But all I can say is that thank you for being here. If you have to take notes, do it. If you have questions, you can always ask me. I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna pass it to. Is it Willie? Who gets the call? Dr. Jonathan?
I just want to say a quick word. I want to thank you.
Wait. So before even Dr. Jonathan speaks, only because I didn't have it. This gentleman is a real doctor. I'm not talking about Dr. Zeus. I'm not talking about PhD. So this guy here is a legitimate, real deal doctor that I know from when we were teenagers. He's a black belt martial artist, and his instructor and my instructor literally were family. So when he got his black belt way back when in the 80s, literally my instructor, Grandmaster Sang-Soo Tiger Kim, sat on the board. So we're not talking about, but in addition to that, we've also been business partners in a variety of things, and we always grow to the top because he's another honest person that I don't have to ever worry about anything because he's a man of integrity. So that's Dr. Jonathan Poussin. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just wanted to thank Jerry, just spoke, and thanks also Dr. Carlet, because I know she's very busy and everything. She's on the line. Dr. Philo and his wife, Jessica, they're on the line, and Gladys also is on the line. You know, these are people that are very committed, people that, you know, Sunday's family time, and they took out the time to hear what we have. Why? Because this is very important. And like I told Dr. Carlet today, there's something that, you know, I heard about a year ago, but I didn't really pay no attention because they didn't present to me properly. And when I found out what it does, you know, and to be a part of Nobel Prize, which you're going to be hearing today, I mean, that's powerful. That speaks for itself. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dave, first to Willie, and then Willie will turn on to Dave.
Okay, great. Can you guys hear me good?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So I mean, you know, Jerry just, you know, said, you know, mentioned that Dr. Poussin, you know, and those that maybe don't know him, but, you know, he's been a doctor, like Jerry said, for 26 years, and very successful entrepreneur and big into martial arts, loves helping people. And it's been an absolute honor, you know, getting to know you and working together over these past couple of weeks. And, you know, and Jerry, you know, you know, we met you and you know, Dave and I both met you, and you know, Dr. Jonathan said, oh, he's a really great guy. And he told us, you know, you were really big in martial arts, you know, but everywhere I look online, you know, Grandmaster Jerry Fast Feet Fontanez. I mean, you know, myself and my buddy Rico Nieves, you know, we've been, and Guillermo Padilla, you know, reading about you and just honored, man. I love, you know, I love like who you are and what you stand for, you know. So before we get started, this is just 2 seconds for you, Jerry. Listen.
Oh, baby. Come on, what you doing?
That's just for you. That's just for you. Well, we got, I know he would really like that. But
oh my God.
So you know, just an honor. And so for everybody's time's sake, about 10 months ago, I found out about what you guys are about to hear about today. So I want to thank everybody. Like Dr. Jonathan said, you know, we thank you for your time. We don't take it lightly. We understand that our time is our greatest resource. And, you know, once we invest it somewhere, we can't get it back. So we don't take that lightly. You're going to hear about something. 10 months ago, somebody said, listen, the research is associated with the Nobel Prize. You know, you will not be able to find results that we're going to show you today anywhere else. They're unique, and they're going to be proven to you. This is no hype. It's going to be shown to you. Okay. So, and that the body, that these products could not work in the human body, you know. And so they caught my attention. My wife and I, you know, we're very health conscious, and we have been, you know, for you know, our entire lives for the most part. And we've done really well, you know, for ourselves in business over the past 16 years. We've done really well, and specifically in network marketing. We love network marketing. We think it's the greatest thing since sliced cheese. We think that it makes the best sense for this economy and moving forward, because money that's utilized for marketing, as we all know, most of us know, that the same money that's going to be used to put up billboards and TV ads, it could go into pockets of people like you and I, anybody, just for word of mouth. And word of mouth is the greatest, you know, marketing. So it just made sense. And these products have made a huge impact in our health. My wife immediately in her first 30 days, her hair, her skin, her nails, waistline. I mean, I watched my wife, you know, just evolve. And you're going to hear this. It's not hype. She became more of a younger version of herself, you know, right in front of my eyes. And I didn't think it was possible, but I fell more in love with my wife, you know, and that's the God's honest truth. I mean, you know, because, okay, fine, you know, the flesh is, you know, is one thing, and I get it, but, you know, we're all human, you know, and I'd love to see my wife healthy, and she just popped on. I wish she would have heard all of that. But anyway, so it's recorded. But anyway, so, and myself, you know, at 51 and a half, I can say, and shortly after putting these products into my body, that I'm physically stronger than I've ever been. Now, we got really excited about this. We absolutely love helping people, and we went bananas with this thing. And because of the help of this gentleman that you're about to hear from, we actually collectively as a team, you got Rico Nieves and Guillermo Padilla, myself, my wife, and a whole group of leaders. We wound up breaking a record with the company because we got so excited about it. And so I just want you to kind of realize, you know, what kind of team is here, you know, presenting with you guys. But this guy is really the guy that you're going to hear from, that we invited you to hear from. This guy has blown us all away. You know, extremely, extremely humble. You know, he's a man of God. 15 years ago, this guy was a mechanic, right? And he's a man of God, and he's a family man. And he would work, you know, his schedule as a mechanic. He would get up early. He would do newspaper routes early in the morning. He would work on cars in the evening, on the weekend, to provide for his family. But he found himself in a very low point in his life, and he'll go deeper into it. But he had no energy. And we know that today, in today's world, that's one of the biggest pain points. People don't have the energy. And Dave is going to actually explain some of the stuff we're aware of, but he's going to go into depth why people don't have the energy, why people are struggling the way they are, and a lot of these illnesses exist. And we're not going to leave you hanging. We're gonna provide to you a solution and what has been working for this company, right? And it's documented. It's not hype at all. But 15 years ago, he was introduced to this information. Implemented the information into his life. Got so excited about how he felt. No network marketing experience at all. He was just excited about how he felt. you know, and he started to educate himself. And so much so, the fact that he loves helping other people, he just genuinely started helping other people. He literally went door to door in his neighborhood. Anybody that knows about network marketing knows that what I'm about to tell you is very extreme. He went knocking on his neighbors' doors just because he wanted to educate them about what he found. You know, and he was actually mentored by the geneticist that you're going to hear about, that his research, you know, his research led to the Nobel Prize. He was actually mentored by one of the world's top nutritionalists and formulator that you're going to hear about. And so he got so educated and he helped so many people. He actually trains at this point medical professionals, chiropractors, dentists, you name it, surgeons. You know, so he's well sought after. He actually travels around the world. He's been in arenas of tens of thousands of people. He's been actually recently voted as the Man of the Year with our company, and because he's helped so many people, hundreds of thousands of people, just educating them on this information. And so he's done really well for himself. And he's generated just about $10 million in the past 15 years. And so he's very, very humble on a Sunday, because he got to meet Jerry and he got to meet Dr. Jonathan. You know, he said, you know what, these guys are the real deal. You know, they are leaders that want to impact world health. And that's what we are all about. And we've joined his mission, you know, so it really gives me a great honor to not only call this gentleman my mentor, but also we've become good friends. And we consider ourselves brothers, because we're so aligned in what we want to do in our lives. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Dave MacArthur.
Thanks, Willie. Exactly. We're in alignment. We're in complete alignment as far, you know, Willie, I've been working with you for 8 months. It feels like it's been a lifetime, and in a good way. And it's been amazing what we've been able to accomplish in a short amount of time working together. And then to meet Jerry and are you okay with Dr. J? Is that all right?
Dr. J's fine.
Awesome. And to meet these guys, I mean, you just know when you know when the Spirit reveals that. And I don't work. I get to do what I love doing. It's my passion. And just really you know, not to be overbearing with it, but my highest, you know, person I'm answering to is God. And I do what I do because of my relationship with God. So with that, let's just jump into this. And I'm super excited about the results you're already seeing, Jerry. I knew it. I just knew it. You know, I've been doing this long enough that I can feel what you feel about the results you're getting. And I haven't found a better feeling than helping people to self-actualize in 3 very important areas in our lives. First and foremost, because for me personally, when I lost my health, I lost my drive. It was my spirit that was strong, but my body was weak. And it doesn't matter how strong your spirit is when your body's weak. And I'm talking on the extreme level. I had chronic fatigue. And if you know anybody that's had that, it's very debilitating. You want to die. I literally was praying for God to take my life or help me find a solution. And as a mechanic, I would disengage the safety mechanism on the lift. So every time I got under a car, God could cause that car to fall on me. Now, my faith prevented me from even thinking suicide. No way. You know, whatever God's going to have me to go through that, I'll go through it. But if he was going to take my life, at least I'd give him a chance to every single time I got under a car, which was every day. Or help me find a solution. And while I hadn't given up, I was still trying. I had a paper route. I didn't have a paper route because I loved a paper route. I hadn't given up. And I was looking for solutions, trying to create my own at the same time. And then it was very miraculous how this solution came into our lives. I mean, God is great. So I give God all the glory for sure. Can't fall off a pedestal when you give God all the glory. So, because there is no pedestal for me, only for God. All right, so with that, I'm just going to go into the science of this, you guys. I think it'll pretty much be self-explanatory as I go through this. And it'll really reveal some things to you that you didn't know. And I think you'll appreciate them. So with that, thank you, everybody. And just all the love and right back at you guys for everything that you said. All right, so I've been with Isagenix for 15 years. This was not even around. I got in Isagenix in 2005. This didn't even hit the market publicly until 2011. And what I was introduced back to in 2005, as far as the company goes, was these are the same. This is I'll call it a superfood complete meal replacement. And a few other products that they had at the time. Now we have a lot of products, but I focus on these two. I did something differently than anybody else in the entire company. I realized that this was a game changer for humanity, this bottle right here in the middle. And there was also some other things that I had recognized, and Jerry had mentioned this, you know, even before I said a word, he was talking about how people are committing suicide with a knife and fork, and you can give them the solutions, but they don't want to discipline themselves to those solutions. And so it gets very frustrating. So there were just some things that I recognized. The biggest thing that I would say that I recognized in this, though, is that it was a game changer for humanity. We'd be pioneering something that never happened before, and it's on like the highest level. And so I'll equate that to the principles of health. Nobody could live the principle of health on this level unless they're taking this product right here. There's nothing even like it. Nothing even in the same category that's even like it. So let's jump into the science of this, and then I'll hit a little bit on this, and then we'll just end up there and answer any questions and go over what else you guys want to talk about. So what do you know about telomeres? A lot of people say, yeah, I know what a telomere is now, but most people don't know in depth. If I was to say, what do you know about telomerase? Even to the medical community, they wouldn't know what telomerase is. Less than 1% could go into what telomerase is and how it impacts the human body and the role that it's playing and how it's being compromised and all of that. And I'm talking about healthcare professionals that have gone to school for 10, 15 years. I'm teaching them. They don't even know what telomeres are, even though the Nobel Prize is around it. Guillermo's had such amazing results that his doctor freaked out, went and grabbed another doctor, showed him, Guillermo, and said, listen to what he's saying. And Guillermo starts telling him what he's doing, what he's taking. And when he talks about telomeres, that doctor said, what's a telomere? All right. So here they're talking to somebody that never took a quarter, not even a quarter of, semester or, what do you call it? Credit, not even a school credit in medical. And here he is teaching these two doctors about something they've never heard of. So I love sharing this information because it's the most important information and conversation we could be having right now because of the breakthrough in not just the science and technology and what we know about it, but now how we can support that and live that principle of health to equal that science. That's the biggest part of the conversation here. So the telomeres are being represented in red. They're on the ends of the chromosomes. And the chromosomes sit in the middle of every cell. Over 100 trillion cells make up the human anatomy. Our blood vessel walls are made up of cells. Everything is made up of cells about us physically. And they all have their own nucleus with chromosomes in them. Bill Andrews would talk about the telomere. This is Bill Andrews being featured in Popular Science here as the man who would stop time. He's been on a lifelong quest to cure aging. He says, oh yeah, aging can be cured, so can disease. So he would use the example of a plastic tip on a shoestring. And he'd say, the plastic tip, what's the purpose of it? And people always say, well, it keeps the shoestring from fraying. He says, that's essentially what the telomere is doing for the DNA. So if we look at this chromosome here and we look inside it, these little steps in the ladder, that's your DNA. Where those two colors come together, that's called a nucleic bond. The two hemispheres are manufactured and then they come together and there's a little molecule right between those two colors. And that's your DNA. It's the software of the cell. It's the software that runs the cells. And remember, the cells make up everything about you physically. So it's pretty important, right? DNA. It's the very foundation of our health and how we operate. So that nucleic bond doesn't hold itself together. That's the role of the telomere at the ends. Otherwise, they would come apart and it would damage the DNA. It'd be like losing software. So as soon as he started saying that, I'm thinking with my mechanical mind, I ran down to Lowe's, got some rope and some red electrical tape, and I made these chromosomes. And I started using them as examples in my presentations for people to just really touch and hold and come up and sit afterwards, and a really good visual. But what I showed was the different stages of telomere degeneration. So the shorter the red tape gets, that's the telomere degenerating. When it degenerates, it's no longer holding that DNA together at the end. So what happens? There's a domino effect. They come apart. And so that would be like losing software. So right here, you've lost basically a third of your software. You wouldn't really notice. I mean, there may be some things that if you had experienced what it was like to run optimally with all your DNA, then you would notice that there's a difference. Whoops. You would notice that there's a difference here. But people are born without their DNA. You've already lost a third of your DNA before you were even born. And I'll talk about that in a sec. So, and this is all Nobel Prize winning research. What I'm sharing with you is not hype. It's not network marketing, you know, theory and hype. This is all based on the Nobel Prize. So by the time you lose half of your DNA, it's going to start to show up now. You're going to feel aches and pains. You're going to have organs that aren't running optimally. So they'll label you with things like MS, Parkinson's, diabetes, lupus, thyroid disease, cancer, dementia, Alzheimer's, loss of vision and hearing, any skin disorders, cirrhosis of the liver, everything, cracking skin on the bottom of your heel. That's not perfect skin. Well, the reason it's not perfect because it doesn't have all of the software in those cells. So they're malfunctioning. Varicose veins, needing a knee replacement. You may have worn it out through overuse, like a pitcher, you know, they have rotator cuff problems, but it's only because they prematurely wore out the telomere through wear and tear. Trauma could damage the telomere as well and mess you up really quick, really fast through trauma. But too much exercise, like over-exercising, wears telomeres out and causes degeneration. Needing a hip replacement, anything that's degenerating in the body, aging, wrinkled skin, gray hair, all of that is a telomere issue. All right, so the only reason this guy looks like this, let's just say he's 80 years old, is not because he's 80, because his telomeres are that short in the different areas that we could see he's degenerating in. Because all the telomeres in your body are not shortening at the same rate, you know, throughout the entire body. There's different things that cause telomeres to shorten faster. You know, some can shorten slower. So there's a lot of different variables, but we could say his muscle, his skeletal, his hair, his skin, probably his vision and hearing, maybe his mind, you know, some pretty obvious things here. That's all a telomere issue. That guy could be 40 and look like this if his telomeres were that short. He could be 80 and look like this guy right here if his telomeres were long and healthy. Okay, so Bill Andrews, like many of us, believes the body can heal itself. But he knew on a much more profound level. He knew that this should be healing itself. It's not, and it never has. We could slow down telomere shortening through the right kind of lifestyle choices. There are some things that they discovered in their lab that are shortening the telomere faster. It's called accelerated telomere shortening. I'll give you one that we're all familiar with, but we didn't know that what it was doing to the telomere. Cigarettes. Cigarettes shorten your telomeres faster. So the chemicals that are in cigarettes, where are they going to be concentrated the most in the human body? When they come into the body, where are those chemicals going to be concentrated? And we all know the throat and lung area, right? The pulmonary system. So what do smokers usually end up with? COPD, lung cancer, emphysema. That's not by chance or coincidence or Russian roulette. It's because those chemicals are bombarding those cells and shortening the telomeres in those specific cells in that area. So they start to malfunction because they're getting down here faster than they should. All right, alcohol, the biggest concentration and hit is going to be the liver. And so they have problems because alcohol shortens your telomeres faster. And you're going to be hitting it the hardest and the most concentrated right in the liver. Now, there's some other things that you'll be interested in knowing shorten your telomeres faster that they've proven. It's irrefutable. Processed foods, the preservatives that are in processed foods and trans fats, they're going to be like in your fast foods. Those shorten your telomeres faster. So a lot of people today are eating almost all processed food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and everything in between. That's why the Surgeon General said it's the first generation of children that won't live as long as their parents. Now, they know that their lifespan is shorter now. They're not going to live as long. But the Surgeon General didn't say anything about telomeres and nothing about fast food. I'm going to make that correlation for you. Because they're eating so much fast food and processed food, it's shortening their telomeres faster. When your telomere gets to a certain length, it's called senescence. It means death of the cell. You've lost so much DNA, the cell can't operate anymore. Just like a computer, when it loses so much software, it crashes. You can't even turn the computer on. It's dead. Well, you're going to die when you reach senescence in your cells. You've lost too much DNA to keep them going. So that's why kids are going to die at a younger age, because their telomeres are going to get to senescence at a younger age. We're already seeing this. We're seeing diseases in kids that didn't used to happen until you were a senior citizen. They're now having diabetes right out of the womb, born with type 2 diabetes. Pre-teenagers, osteoporosis. How are the babies getting that before they're even born? Because the chemicals that are being passed through the umbilical cord. They find over 300 in every baby that's born that they tested. Like 10 out of 10, over 300 chemicals in the blood. Okay, these chemicals are shortening the telomeres faster. So with processed food, who knows where those are going to end up? The blood's going to pick them up and deliver them to wherever they go. All right, so this is some of the things that should make things a little more clear to you. Like, why does somebody look younger for their age? Because they're staying away from those accelerated chemicals and toxicity and stress and other factors. And they're eating healthy as they can. So at an older age, their telomeres are going to be longer than the average person who's exposing themselves through not being as diligent and as disciplined. So there's no, you're born with good genes or it's just a matter of chance. It's all science, you guys. So Bill Andrews, in understanding that this should be healing itself the moment it gets damaged. Just like our skin, when we cut our skin, the body immediately goes into healing mode. This should be. Well, he identified the problem on a molecular level in 1994. Okay, so he's the one who's accredited with that. He identified a gene that produces this enzyme inside the chromosome. It's called telomerase. And he identified the gene in 1994, discovered that it's being suppressed, and by 1997, he figured out how to unsuppress it so that it's producing the enzyme on the level that it can and should. And he did that with human skin cells. They're the only lab in the world that can do that. And they invented the procedures, and it's his lab. And they were able to work with human skin cells, activate that enzyme with cultured living human skin cells. And right in front of their eyes, when they got that gene to induce the telomerase, they saw the DNA repair. Now, this is the guy that did that in 1997. Nobody else, very few, like not even a half a dozen people were even trying to do something like this. Now, Bill's lab is the only lab in the world that can do it. So a very small group of researchers. He was ridiculed by a lot of researchers and just thought that he was going down the wrong rabbit hole. But he proved it, and he got Inventor of the Year runner-up for doing that in 1997. Very controlled environment. They still didn't really know what that meant. It wasn't like everybody was like, ooh, wow, awesome, and jumped on board. But somebody did take notice, a Dr. Ronald DePino, and he headed up a group at Harvard. And they were able to do with mice what Bill did with the human skin cells over a decade later. When Bill Andrews and his research team were able to do this to the human skin cells, what they realized was, yeah, we did it. This is like high five, right? And they theorized, and he says this in this article, which is about 14 pages long, just on Bill in his research, one of the longest articles ever on one person. And they said, if we could do that to this guy in all of his cells, his muscle, his bones, his brain, his hair, everything, if we could do this, restore the software in every one of his chromosomes and every one of his cells, he would go back to his mid-20s. They said like 24, 25, 26. I'll tell you now, actually, it's earlier than that, as far as capacity to operate at an optimal level. And I'll share with you how I discovered that, factually, in my very humble but accurate opinion. So Harvard did that, and then that was with mice, living, breathing mice, which are mammals like you and me. And so it really showed the possibilities for us, because what happened to the mice? They had diabetes, they had cancer, they had cardiovascular disease, they had skin and hair issues, they had osteoporosis. What happened to all of that when they restored when they activated the enzyme in the mice. What happened to all that? It went away. And the mice looked and acted younger. Their activity level went back to that of a young mouse, and they could see the DNA repairing in the mice on a molecular level with the microscopes. And they learned for the first time that a living, breathing mammal could repair all of the DNA. So if every disease, every degenerative disease and symptom of aging is linked to this, and you not only reverse that, you stop it, let that sink in, you guys. That's why Bill Andrews had me at Hello in 2009. I truly believe because of my desires first, and then God just helping me to discern and have insight above and beyond what everybody else in that crowd of people that were at the lecture, I was able to tap into. Now, this was given the Nobel Prize, this research, in 2009. That was right after the mice, right after they did that to the mice, which is, I mean, obviously it deserves, that's the highest, you know, recognition you could get, an accolade in you know, the medical or any science, is the Nobel Prize. So of course they got it because it showed what is the possibility for humans. All right, so this is a big deal, right? And I'll just show you real quick. Let me jump over to this here. I'll show you the ABC News clip of them talking about that on the news.
And now, eternal youth. Is it in a cage around the corner? News tonight of a breakthrough for some pioneering mice. But we always wonder, what does a fountain of youth for rodents reveal for humans? Here's Sharon Alfonsi reporting.
I feel tremendous.
In the movie Cocoon, it's a swimming pool that turns back the clock for a group of senior citizens. But now researchers have found a way not just to stop, but reverse the aging process. The key is something called a telomere. We all have them. They're the tips or caps of your chromosome, seen here in yellow. This is what it looks like in a young adult. But as you grow older, the telomeres become damaged and frayed, and as they stop working, we start aging, experiencing things like hearing and memory loss. Scientists took mice who were prematurely aged, added an enzyme, and essentially turned their telomeres back on. You can see it before the enzyme, after.
Their brain function improved, their fertility was restored. It was a remarkable reversal of the aging process.
Look at this picture. The mouse on the right has bad skin, gray hair, and is balding, but the one on the left had its telomeres flipped back on.
And you could see that essentially you now have a dark coat color, that the hair is restored, that the coat has a nice healthy sheen to it.
Even more dramatic, the change in brain size. This is before. The mice had 75% of a normal brain, like a patient with severe Alzheimer's. But after the telomeres were reactivated, the brain returns to normal size.
Okay, so you guys, and this is the slide that I'm not going to be redundant on this, but you know, with the mice, this is their brains before. This is after. The brains got bigger and they got their mental ability back too. Right here, they had Alzheimer's. Right here, no more Alzheimer's. And this was all innately within the mice. They saw these nucleic bonds reestablish their connections, right? So Bill did it first in the skin cells. Harvard did it in the mice. Bam, Nobel Prize. Now let me go back to this other PowerPoint here. And a lot of science there, you know, and Bill Andrews, being mentored by him was such an honor. I put this information together and he said, Dave, that's the best presentation I've ever seen on a research that's really complicated and hard for people to understand. You made it easy for everybody to understand. And I probably went into a little more detail there for you guys right now. But I got to keep it simple. You don't want to talk over people's heads. You want to just make it so that they understand what this means for them and the people that they love and care about, right? So this is me and Bill Andrews. That's about 9 years ago, maybe a little more than 9 years ago now. We did a video together. I said, Bill, nobody's listening to me out there. You know, I'm going to medical offices. They won't even let me pass the gatekeeper. They think I'm crazy. So I had him do a little video where I could show him the video on my phone, and then I'd show him the popular science. And it got me in to start talking to these surgeons and these doctors, and then invited to speak at different things. And so that video really helped. But you can see I look a lot younger here right now than I do here. That's about 9 years ago. But Bill said that I know more about telomeres than most scientists that call themselves telomere biologists. And this is me and Bill lecturing together. So I don't show this for like ego reasons. This is to establish credibility with you guys. Bill Andrews is hands down the greatest contributor to the science of what we know about telomeres today and where we're at with them and what we're doing about it. In fact, the 3 people that got named on the Nobel Prize, because of what I'm about to show you in this slide, well, right here, those 3 people aren't even actively engaged with anything around telomeres, like trying to develop something because of, you know, the politics that go behind the Nobel Prize. Bill was not named on that, but it's his research that led to Harvard being able to do what they did with the mice. Bill gave Dr. DePino his research information, and while they were doing it with mice, Bill Andrews was working with his research team trying to figure out how we can do it in humans, right? So Bill is by far the greatest contributor, by far, and still to this day. This is Jimmy Smith right here. I've known Jimmy for 15 years since I've been in the company. He's 80 right here, and he's 90 right here. He's actually 91 now. And I got a little bit of background noise. We didn't mute you guys out. So if you want to mute yourselves out, that will eliminate some of the background noise. So Jimmy's 80 here, 90 here. He's healthier than when I met him. He's younger. He has better vitality and stamina and physicality than when I met him. So you would look at this and say, well, this looks like it's backwards. No, he's 90 here. We call it youthful aging, turning back the clock. And nobody else in Isagenix is doing these kinds of presentations. In fact, just to drive this home to how exclusive this information is, there's only about 12% of people in Isagenix that are ordering this product. This product right here, about 12% are ordering it because they don't know what it is. I'm the one that's been promoting and putting this presentation together. Bill Andrews and John Anderson talked about it, but that was one night only. Kind of like the news. We've been in the news. If this is so great, why isn't it in the news? Oh, it's been in the news. But if you missed it that night, there's not a recap. The news doesn't mark it. They actually went into a doctor's office that's a board certified internal medicine in Florida. And he said, I put over 400 patients on this right here. He points to it. He says, they're all getting better. And all I changed is this. And you could watch that video on YouTube. They list things that I can't, you know, promote as being a representative of Isagenix. Makes claims. So, so going forward, we're jumping into Bill's lab now. This is an assay that Bill uses, these yellow and red lines that you're looking at here, this black chart. It's an assay that they use when they put a compound in a chromosome. Is it inducing that enzyme, telomerase? So in over 10 years, they tested over 304,000 different compounds, one at a time, and they found 8. So the red line is an indicator that basically it's doing in the human skin cell in a petri dish what ABC News reported on the mice. It's basically doing the same thing. The red line is the indicator. Now, out of all the compounds they searched, they could only find chemicals to do it. And there were chemicals that were too toxic for human consumption. They couldn't find anything natural, nothing holistic, no botanicals. Nothing would even turn it on, not even a little bit, with a natural botanical. They said the best we could do was find ways to slow down the telomere shortening, but they couldn't induce telomerase. So these are the only 8 in over 10 years, $30 million in testing. He had up to 40 researchers working in his lab. So now along comes John Anderson, who's one of the co-founders, and he's the formulator of Isagenix, and he's the one that started Isagenix along with Jim and Kathy Cooper back in 2002. He formulated for over 600 companies. He formulated for the military. He formulated for Joe Weider. He was Joe Weider's formulator. Nature's Way, GNC, Metarex, I mean, over 600 companies. And the problem that John had in formulating for companies, he didn't own them. And so he said there was always a compromise in one way or another to the quality of the formulations. It was either the ingredients, leaving ingredients out, breaking up the synergistic blends, putting cheap fillers in. And he said it was very frustrating. He said, I did get some good products to market, but not what I knew I could. He said, I knew I could change people's lives. In 3 to 5 days, they would look different and feel different, just with nutrition. But he said, I had to start my own company to make uncompromised products. And he did that in 2002. after 30 years of formulating, started his own company. And so he didn't know Bill Andrews. That was in 2002. He was introduced to Bill Andrews in late 2009. And when he was by my friend, Peter Greenlaw. And when Peter introduced these two guys, which was not easy, I call it science meets wellness. And John got so excited. He said, had I known this about telomerase, I would have formulated it for a long time ago. He said, I had heard of telomeres, but I didn't really know the role that they played. Now that I know, I absolutely believe this is the reason I was born. And I feel very optimistic. So he started sending over these little bottles. And out of the first 15 bottles that he sent, they got this hit right here, number 1. In months, John was able to derive from a natural ingredient and induce telomerase, vetted by Bill Andrews in his lab. You're looking at the hit. This is from Bill. I got this from Bill, this assay. That one right there. They thought he was extremely lucky because here they are, 40 researchers, over 304,000 compounds in over 10 years. They couldn't find anything. He sends 15 little bottles and gets a hit and activated the enzyme. And then he sent another 15 and got the second one. So out of 30, they got these 2. Out of those 120 that he sent over, they got these 7. And Bill, I got to watch this happen, you guys. I was being mentored by Bill Andrews. I was teaching about telomeres before we even had a product. And Bill Andrews said, this will change the landscape of human health as we know it. We'll see the body producing results that we've never seen before, and this product will become a household name. And he said he's never been more excited. Here's his life's work. And they're like, who is this guy? You know, he's a genius, literally a genius. To this day, they don't test anybody's ingredients now. Only John's. John's still sending them over. I got a picture from John on a piece of equipment they just invented. Looked like a rocket thruster from the space shuttle. And he says, this is the only machine of its kind. You know, so this advancement and passion and intuition and revelation, all of that, it just keeps progressing. We're not ultimately where we can be, but we are miles ahead of anything else just with this right here. There is nothing that could help you live the principle of health on a higher level. Nothing that even comes, there's not even a close second place, not even within our company. That's what I recognized with this because I listened and then I researched. There wasn't a whole lot of information back in 2009. That's why I started to be mentored by Bill. I had to ask questions. Inquiring minds want to know, and it wasn't out there on the internet. There was very little. Now you're seeing a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon. We've had companies that said their product is better than ours, and John made Bill test them. And Bill's like, I don't need to test them. They wouldn't even know if it was working unless we had vetted it in the first place. There's no way they would know. We're the only lab on the planet that could tell them whether or not their product's working. It's just snake oil. John still twisted his arm and made him test them. They had none of these red lines in those other products. And here they are claiming they're better than ours, right? And that's just how it is in the supplemental industry. It's that way in any industry. Look at Enron. So it's not just the network marketing industry, although it is there. So there's the vetting. This one happened in 2012. I was getting emails from John at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I get an email from him. And he said, I'm staying up all night with stuff. And I got a call from Bill Andrews on this one right here. See, the length of the red line, the more effective it is in inducing that enzyme. This one right here, Bill called me personally. He said, Dave, John did something I said would be impossible to do. He found 2 hits from a natural ingredient that went off the charts. So you have no idea what's about to happen. We need to do a little meeting. Can you get a group of people together in Vegas? And I'll fly in and talk to you guys. And he did. And we started seeing things happen faster and things that we weren't seeing. This moved his lab forward 15 to 20 years where they thought they would be at that point in time in 2012. Let me just say right now, we're way past this. There's over 25 of these red lines in what we're currently taking, and a lot of them are bigger than these 2. Well, I got a picture from John about 6 months ago of a little bottle. He said, Dave, I found the mother of them all. And in an ingredient and in a botanical that he said, I'm looking through everything, branches, barks, roots, leaves, trees, bushes, anything I can get my hands on. He knows what he's looking for in the plants, and there could be up to 500 different phytochemicals in a plant. And he knows which ones he's looking for now, and he found one. And he said, Dave, it's more powerful than the entire bottle put together. I can't wait until we get this all framed up right and get it in. That caused the invention of a new machine. So you guys, we're at the forefront. We're leading the way. And imagine all of his other products that he's been formulating. That's why they changed my life back in 2005. This mind, he didn't have to come up with a way to formulate. He already knew how. He just didn't know about telomerase. So imagine all the other products that you have access to through this company. And they change your life in one way or another. So we're on 4th generation now. There's 120 vegan gel caps in that bottle. Let me grab my bottle here. It's a month supply. It says 4 a day. You can take more than 4 a day. I'll just throw that out there. But it says 4 a day on the bottle. So if you do the 4 a day, this is a 1 month supply. My granddaughter opened it in this office at 2 years old. 2 years old, she opened it. So what does that say about this? Totally safe. It's a vegan gel cap, has its own delivery system in it. That's one of John's proprietary ways of formulating. And we actually have clinicals on it, on the assimilation. And we have a video where it shows how that's, you know, being distributed to the cells. And everything is inside. The vegan gel cap dissolves very quickly before it gets into the bulk of the stomach acids and ruins those very, you know, sensitive phytochemicals. It's pharmaceutically grade formulated. It has to. It's that precise of a product. Okay, so this is me at 33 years old. This is me a couple years ago at 50, right here. So I'm in better shape, like Willie said, at 51 and a half. He's literally stronger in the gym than he's ever been. And that's not hard to notice when you're lifting more weight than you've ever lifted. We have people in the military breaking the records in the obstacle course, the pull-ups. I got a guy that said he's did 20 more pull-ups in the time that they gave him for the military. I think it was the Marines. They time you for how many pull-ups. 20 more pull-ups than the record. The top, the world champion CrossFitter, 58 years old on the product. We have NFL athletes. I got an NFL athlete on it that couldn't recover, MVP player for his shoulder. He couldn't recover, and it was just painful in 2 weeks. He's all, I'm not going to say it's that product, but man, this worked when nothing else did. So Bill Andrews himself is an ultra marathon runner. He's running faster than he ever has at 68 years old. He said, I am crushing the world record for a 70-year-old. I can't wait till I turn 70. I will be in the Guinness Book of World Records, and I will crush that record. He beat a record that he had at 40 years old by 50 minutes. His wife, Molly, ran a race. It's at 18,000 feet, and it's 138 miles long at 18,000 feet in the Himalayas. People have died running that race. You only get 60 hours to get to the finish line. And it goes from 18 to 13,000, back to 18, back to 14, back to 18. And you don't stop running. You run consistently. You don't nap. There's no sleeping. You get 60 hours to do it. Only 6 people ever have. His wife, Molly, tried it 2 years before this product was out. She gets on the product. All of a sudden, they're running faster and there's no recovery time. And they're like, what the heck is going on? She decides to run that race again. She's the first female and the 7th person to cross that finish line in under 60 hours. 2 days later, she had flown in straight from the airport, from the Himalayas to our convention in Vegas and lectured from the stage, right from the airport, in her sweats. 2 days later. I helped my son move yesterday, 3 flights, just me and him. I literally went up and down those stairs, 3 flights, over 70 times. I calculated over 6,000 steps, carrying stuff. Climbing to the top of the Eiffel Tower is only 674 steps or something like that. And here I am, you know, and we unloaded the truck this morning. I'm not sore. I'm a little tired, a little fatigued, not sore, you guys. Crazy. I did have a good night's sleep. I slept really deep. But look, I'm ready to go. Bill is the oldest person to complete that race now. He's the oldest person to complete the race at 18,000 feet. And so, you guys, athletes for sure, but I'll show you some pictures now of some people that were health challenged. They had some issues. Before I do that, I'm going to put the disclaimer up here. We're not making any claims around curing any illnesses or diseases. Now, this is where that's science. You should be able to relate. Who do you know that has cells? Who do you know that has telomeres? That's pretty much everyone, right? That's who should be on this product. They'll start supporting their telomeres in a way that they've never been supported before. That's why Bill Andrews said it'll be a household name. He called it a phenomenon with the results that started happening, but we can't make any claims around curing any illnesses or diseases. And one other thing I'll say too, before I forget, Bill Andrews said, if I had blank, he said this from the stage, and they had to correct him because he didn't quite understand. If I had blank, I would absolutely be on isogenesis, because your immune system is your number one defense against blank. And I've never seen anything boost the immune system like this does. Then he went into your immune cells. They have telomeres. So, but we're not making any claims around curing any illness. We're supporting the body nutritionally in a way that it never has been before. So what does that mean for you and the people you love and care about? So here's Dick Sauter. I did a meeting in Wisconsin at a dentist office, and he actually got me to speak at a dentist symposium, because after 30 years, he saw something with one of his patients that he had never seen. And so he got it for his staff. He got him on this product. They had amazing results. One of the staff members had lupus. She had a phenomenal positive results. So he got me in, I lectured. This gal named Amy came, and Amy still gets on our Zooms every week. And she said, the first person I thought of was my father-in-law on the way home, because we were thinking about moving him in with us because he could no longer take care of himself. And he was tripping over the oxygen cords all the time in his home. He's 82 here. He's 83 here. He's 87 right here. Right here, he's working out. He's driving. He's doing things that his body and mind wouldn't allow him to do here. Here he is at 89 last year. And he did 105 push-ups live on Facebook on his 89th birthday. Here he is, just about to turn 90. She sent me this picture last week. He's digging, he's hauling buckets of walnuts around, and just totally active. This is what? He's 82 here. He's going to be 90 in July. What are we in now? May? So in less than 2 months, he'll be 90. This is not a fluke. This is not an isolated case. I've done over 5,000 presentations. I've been going back to the same places up until we've been restricted on traveling. I love traveling and presenting. And this is, trust me, not an isolated case, but think about people you know that, really even can't even take care of themselves. I've had people come out of assisted living centers. Bob Sheridan, he's in the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's the only announcer in the Boxing Hall of Fame. He's known as the Colonel. And the hospital sent him home right now. The whole boxing community knew about it. They were about to lose an icon in the industry. My friends, Dennis and Sharon Allen, who live an hour and a half south of me in Las Vegas, they're friends with Bob, and they got him on the product. Here he is back to work being interviewed by Fight News 6 months later. The hospital sent him home here because of his cardiovascular system. They said it's too weak. Your ejections are too low to even put in a pacemaker. And this really hit home with Willie because his mom, passed away of the same thing. And they said, we can't do anything for you. If we operate on you, you're not going to get off the table. Just go home and get things ready. So here he is back to work. I read this interview. It's on fightnews.com. Still there, back in 2012. They said, what in the world happened to you? You look amazing. You're back to work. We thought we were going to lose an icon in this industry. He talks all about the product and everything that's improved with his health. This is 6 months. This is the end of, this is December 2011, this 2012. This is the end of 2012. So that's 1 year, sitting at home in his recliner. Cardiovascular system in the high normal for a healthy person. And they'd never seen that before. Of course, they write it off as a fluke. And he bought a sports car, got a ticket going 120 miles an hour. He's still announcing to this day. He's in his 80s. The last interview, he said, I feel like I can go on announcing for another 20 years. I'm friends with Bob. I did meetings in his home. I'm Facebook friends with him. He's doing the boxing galas. So Kathy, who's on our Zooms every week, she's got it right. Age is just a number. Doesn't matter how old you are. There are people who are in full-time assisted living centers now in their 40s. How do I know that? I was put on a three-way call with somebody that works at a full-time assisted living center. She said they're coming in their 40s now. That's a telomere issue. So it's not how old you are, it's how long your telomeres are. So this is my good friend Kathy, and this is 2012. Let's jump 4 years later, 2016, at 69 years old. Not a fluke. Remember, Bill Andrews is running faster than he ever has at 68. She's 70 here. She's about to turn 73. She shared her testimony on the last Zoom we did a couple Zooms ago. Let me just point something out here. This is the catalyst that turned back the clock for Bob in all of his cells, and he has a more youthful appearance. This is the catalyst that did that. I watched it personally. If this is what did that, and he keeps taking this, when is his body going to go back to this? If he keeps taking this, when's his body going to go back to this? See, the human body, when I was with learning from Bill, there were some things that I was internalizing. The body's a miracle. Wow, the body's more of a miracle than I realized. This is the foundation of that miracle. Telomeres, telomerase, DNA. I didn't even do DNA right. When I did my first presentation, I did a D with the little squiggly N and an A. And somebody said, no, Dave, it's an N. You got to put the letter N, DNA. All right? So, I don't care. I'm about the truth and getting the message out there to change people's lives. This is my good friend Jill in the company, and Jill is just an angel on this earth. I mean, she is a walking light. And this is 2011, and Jill loves helping people. And we know in this industry, the more you love and help people, the more you make. She's making over $2 million a year in our company. And this is 2011 when the product came out. This is 2020 at 61 years old. It looks like it should go this way, right? Yeah, in the old world, back in Columbus's day, they didn't even know about the new world. And now everybody knows about every part of the world, right? That's why this is going to be a household name. This is eventually going to get out. There'll be enough people on it. That's how it's going to get out, walking, talking billboards. 61 years old. It's not a glamour shot. It's a selfie. I grabbed a selfie off of her Facebook. This was right before I went up to present with Bill Andrews. This was about 2 months ago. This is Dr. Paul Arciero. He did the clinical studies on our products. They made him famous because they're seeing results they had never seen before. He's writing books about it. They ended up in peer-reviewed medical journals. If you know anything about peer review, published studies, they're the hardest, most strict. And our products ended up in PubMed from his peer review medical, clinical. And Dr. Dunsky, who will be doing a presentation, I think tomorrow or today, later today, I did the presentation at his office. He says it's the single greatest thing he's ever brought into his practice. So this is Jill at 42. This is her at 60. She's just living the principle of health at a higher level. What I meant to say earlier was, the body's capacity to run optimally is based on our obedience to the principles that's based on. We call them principles of health. She wasn't able to live that principle of health here, either because she didn't know about it or it didn't exist. Well, it didn't exist back then. It exists now, and a lot of people aren't on it because they don't know about it. So I saw this as a twofold thing: grow my business, but also what's more important is impacting people's lives. And being a player on this level, it's not been easy, you guys. A lot of people laughed at me. They thought it was snake oil. Now the product's not under trial. We have clinicals and so many observationals. Chantel, who lives 2 hours north of me, she was already in Isogenics. She wasn't taking this. They asked me to do, I'm the first non-scientist to speak at the science talks before our big company event. It's the day before. And so I got to speak from the science stage. We sold out of the product in the store that night. It was gone the next day. This product right here. Because of all the people that were there in the company that absolutely are going to buy into what I'm sharing with them because I'm speaking from the stage at the event. It's sold out that night. Only 12% of people are on this product. And so she's one of them. Well, I started working with the person that enrolled her. She told her about it. This gal's had back pain for over 10 years. Her dad died from it. When they put him on the hard pain pills, his life just went down, 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 and he died. So she vowed never to get on the pain pills. But her back's been hurting for about 10 years. For about the last year, she, up to this picture here, she was getting zero sleep. She said, I bought new mattresses. I have so many pillows. They try to prop me up right, and I could fall asleep for a couple hours. Zero sleep she was getting. She gets on the product on a Wednesday. On a Friday morning, I get a text right from her. Is this a fluke? I slept all night. I'm literally crying in my bed right now. I slept all night. This is a fluke, right? And I said, welcome to the world of telomeres and isogenesis. She waited a month and a half before she posted anything on it. Now she's hiking, boating, horseback riding, helping her husband with his flooring business. Like Dick, at 89, 90 years old, doing things that he couldn't do at 82, she's doing things that she absolutely could not have done. And her daughter had issues with her scalp. In the wintertime, it gets so bad that it's always seeping. They can't even brush her hair. She'll just cry. No more issues. No more issues. Sixth grader. So you guys see the importance of this information, and not only is it just real science, but we have a solution. And there's entrepreneurial speaking. If this doesn't like wake you up and shake you up and say, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I get to hear this. Nobody even knows they have a telomere, let alone that there's a supplement that's supporting it, backed by real science. So, and when I lectured with Bill, it was about 4 weeks ago on my last presentation that I did live with Bill. He said it's the single greatest thing to support your telomeres on the planet. And marketing's not easy. There's over 335,000 people in my group, not the company, my group. But marketing is still slow. We're not in 1%. I thought we'd be a lot further along with people like Jerry and John and Willie. That's changing. Willie, you got over 1,000 people started on this in like 6 months. You grew a team, you broke some records in a company that's been around for 19 years and created 320 millionaires now. Me and my wife are the 69th millionaires. We have millionaires popping in about every 2 weeks now. We're at 320. In a 320 millionaire company, 19 years, Willie has broken a record. And he just got in, what are you at, like 9 months now? And Guillermo's about to have released 100 pounds. And it's super simple, 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. And I partnered it up with what I felt was the next greatest product we have and would produce the next greatest results that people would see. And it would also be addressing this. Like Jerry said, brother, we are 2 peas in a pod. This stuff is killing people. It's like the theater is on fire. You're the only one that sees the fire and everybody else is still they're in a trance watching the movie. And you're like, if we don't get out of here, everybody's gonna die. And you're shouting. And it's like, they're still just watching the screen. That's what it's literally like. Seems like it at times. So I partnered it up with this right here. This is what John Anderson said would change people's lives in 3 to 5 days, guaranteed. 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. And in case you don't know, Isagenix waived their customer membership fee. They said, we're getting rid of it. Desperate times call for desperate measures. It's not for a certain amount of time. They got rid of the wholesale membership cost for a customer. It used to be $29 a year to get the product at the wholesale price. They still get it at the wholesale price, and they still get the 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. If for whatever reason you're not satisfied, get all your money back. And no membership. So people are killing themselves with a knife and fork. I've watched probably about 4 documentaries: Food Matters, Food Inc., King Corn, and Super Size Me. We made all my kids watch Super Size Me. And those 4 were enough for me to realize the theater is on fire and nobody knows. That was in 2005 for me. I put this presentation together by 2005, the end of 2005, 2006, right around there. Nobody was doing PowerPoints. I had to figure out how to do a PowerPoint. And I put this PowerPoint together, this part. That other part on what I just shared with you, I made that back in 2011 when our product was released. I've been on this soapbox, this crusade. It is a crusade, this mission that God's given me for 15 years now. And it's always been about your pH, getting to homeostasis. That's homeostasis, pH balance. It takes about 90 nutrients to get there. 60 of them are minerals. And this is spinach. 1 bowl of spinach, according to UCLA, used to give you enough iron for a week. In 2007, it takes 51 bowls of spinach to get the same amount of iron. And it's not just spinach, it's minerals across the board. This is 1997 from the US Department of Agriculture, showing the decline of minerals in the soil. And it's also happened to organic as well. Organic is better than eating non-organic, and eating non-organic produce is better than eating this. Now this would be GMO, over processed. Eating non-organic would be way better than this down here, right? Eating organic is the best you can get, but it still falls short. It doesn't have the adequate amount of minerals, and they can still spray them with pesticides. So guess what's in them? Pesticides in USDA certified organic, just not as many, all right? So there's a problem there. Can't get enough. Your body gets acidic when you drop below 7. They call it acidosis. When your body's acidic, guess what you're doing? I didn't used to be able to say it. I couldn't say this before because I didn't know to say it prior to 2009. You're shortening your telomeres faster right here, which has a domino effect. Your body breaks down now. You're going to develop disease. I used to say acidic bodies create a diseased body. Now I get it. Acidic bodies shorten your telomeres faster. Smoking doesn't cause cancer. Smoking shortens your telomeres faster, which causes you to lose DNA, which causes the cells to malfunction. You get that? I know it's a minute thing, but it's an important specific detail because of what we can do about it now. So when your body's below, your body's actually pulling minerals out of your bones and organs to try to offset this acidity and get your body alkaline. Well, this will get your body alkaline in 5 to 7 days, doing 1 shake every morning. Break the fast with the world's best food. You've been sleeping all night, so you've been fasting. Breakfast is your most important meal. People say, oh, I skip breakfast, like they're proud of it or something. It's your most important meal to give the systems what it needs to operate. So we say replace breakfast with this. If I could get you to replace 1 meal with this shake, could it dramatically and profoundly change your life? Absolutely. Clinically proven and observationally. And you'll notice your cravings change when you get right here. You feel satisfied longer. You stop eating things that you used to eat that would give your brain unhealthy energy really fast. Flour will do that faster than a sugar, than Snickers, because they can convert glucose. It converts processed flour to glucose faster than it can sugar. This will spike your brain energy faster than this. So this is just gets addictive, but it's a very unhealthy energy. You should be getting energy from nutrition, from nutrients. And there's over 200 in this with its own delivery system. People are putting on muscle just taking this. Same with this too. I had somebody who wasn't even taking our shakes. They said, I already know about nutrition. I'll just take the Isogenesis. They looked down at their arm while they were there on the phone. She's in her 60s. She says, I got a muscle back in my arm. How did Isogenesis do that? I said, well, that's the same thing that happened to mice, not just with their muscle, but with their bones too. Their muscle came back because the DNA expression controls the expression of the cell, and your muscles are made of cells. But you put this in, Dr. Michael Colgan founded the Colgan Institute. He's in his 80s. He's never aligned with any company, ever. He said, I found some good products out there, but the deeper you look into companies, the more I didn't want to align my name with them. But he said, get the products here, get ingredients here. He got a hold of our products, couldn't believe it. The deeper he looked, the better it got with Isagenix. He's now one of the doctors in our company, and he's actually made some products in our company. He trains Olympic athletes. He's invited to speak all over the world. He's in his 80s. He said 1 shake. He wrote a book about our shake. It's called The New Nutrition. You can get it on Amazon. The New Nutrition. He said 1 shake will boost your immune system by 500%. 500%. 1 shake, not 1 canister that has 14 mils in it. 1 shake. Think about that right now. And I'll tell you, it'll get your body to homeostasis and your cravings will change in about 5 to 7 days. So we just get people started with 1 meal. How easy. So I was stuck kind of as a promoter, networker, as far as building my business. It was a good place to be stuck, around $250,000 a year, passive residual income. And when this came out, there was some dynamics that I had observed about trying to get people to change their lifestyle, right? Like what Jerry was talking about. And so I saw this as a game changer for humanity, and I partnered it up with 1 shake. And I introduced people to Isagenix with 1 shake in the morning, 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night, no exceptions. And even people that had heard of our products and that we have a great nutritional cleansing fasting system. I said, no, we're not going to start you on that. You can get on that later. I want you doing this for at least a month. And I would talk them down. I would say I'd talk them off the ledge. No, just buy this and the 2 canisters. took my business to over $1 million a year in 2 years. Right? That wasn't because my skill level as a networker went up. It was because my approach was sustainable and shareable. No coaching, no lifestyle change. Keep doing what you're doing. Just take the shake in the morning, swallow the 2 pills with it, and take 2 pills at night. If you forget, then put the pills by your toothbrush. Take it when you brush your teeth in the morning and take it when you brush your teeth at night. So simple. I didn't have to follow up to make sure they were doing it right. They could start the 2 pills at night and then do them in the morning. It doesn't matter if they do it backwards. 2 in the morning, 2 at night. So I go into the immune system. I'm not going to go into that here, but we have a lot of products. I picked a few that are really boosting the immune system above and beyond what these 2 products are doing. And you know what Bill Andrews said about this in the immune system, and Dr. Michael Colgan about the shake. Just know that, you know, we got things covered when it comes to you not feeling vulnerable when you go outside or somebody touches you or breathes on you. This was me before Isagenix. I was very athletic, and at 36 years old, I was about as far away from that as I could possibly be. I wrestled football, baseball. I took 2nd place in wrestling in California as a junior in high school, and then I dropped out. But right here, I was exercising, eating like I did when I was, you know, in high school, and it wasn't working. I was hungry and angry right here, and I was plateaued out. My wife won the products. You guys, I'm very skeptical, and I had done a lot of due diligence. I was juicing and things like that. And for a table, somebody behind a table to tell me this is it, you know, it's not going to rust, bust, or collect dust is what I hear, right? And if you buy it now, we'll throw in this, you know. I'm just very skeptical at those types of things. But my wife listened. She felt it was an answer to our prayers for my health. She entered a drawing, and she won the products. And this was me 25 days later with no exercise. My energy went through the roof. I was waking up before the alarm clock. I was happy. I stopped drinking Rockstar energy drinks and didn't realize it until 4 days in. Haven't had any coffee or Rockstars in 15 years. 4 Snickers bars in 15 years. And this is me at 4.5 months. I started exercising and working out with this nutrition. Nutrition plays over 80% of the results. Nutrition is a big deal. And then the Isagenesis came out, and it turned back the clock in my cells. I'm better shape at 50 than I was when I was 16. I'm in better shape there than when I was wrestling. So any living thing, any living organism has an innate ability to heal itself. Plants do it all the time. You forget to water it, it almost dies, right? That's a living organism. It's about to die. We've all done that. You start watering it again, something that is near death totally springs back and is healthy and young and vibrant again. We never thought about it that way, right? I did once I started realizing what telomeres are. I'm like, it's all around us. This product works for dogs, cats, horses. We have horses that are getting better times racing than when they retired than when they were racehorses. Dogs and horses that were going to be euthanized are now, the dogs are bounding around like puppies. You feed our shake to your plants. We have cactuses growing heights that they've never grown before. How do I know that? Because they owned a nursery, cactus nursery. So you guys, I could go on and on, but let's just do a comparison here, and then I'll toss it over to Willie. Yeah, there's no principle of health in this. And Jerry, I know you would go off on this. And so would Dr. J. I mean, there's no nutrition in this. It's going to cause you to go into acidosis and cause your body to pull minerals out of your bones and organs. So it's negative on the nutrition scale. And way too many calories. They now have studies with kids that are malnourished in the US. Not from not eating, because they're not getting nutrition in what they're eating. 240 calories, way more than enough nutrients to get you to homeostasis and pH balance. You only need 90 to get there. We have over 200 in this. You can make food better. You could also make it worse. The cost, $8.47 when I made this slide back in 2007. Today that meal's $10.50. Our shake is under $3. It's like $2.85. Dr. Michael Colgan couldn't believe that it was so inexpensive compared to what he was getting his athletes to do and buy. He said it was easier, it was convenient, and you actually have more in it than what I was getting them. And the average person, our studies are showing you have an extra $100 to spend on whatever you want because your cravings go down and it's a less expensive meal. Now, if you give up, in that study, it was just meal for meal. But if you're losing Starbucks cravings and you don't go to Starbucks anymore, how much would that save you a month? I know for Digna it was $254. I think that's exactly how much she said, $254. I've had people tell me $300 a month they've spent out Starbucks, and they haven't gone since being on this program right here. So we add the Isogenesis to the shake. What's your cost per day? Still half the price of that Burger King meal that's killing you. And this is the greatest discovery of our time, says John Anderson and Bill Andrews. We're pioneering something that's never happened before, and it's half the cost. Jennifer Trinkner, a Miss Universe in our company, she just made Miss Bikini America at 46 years old. She has 3 kids, and you had to have had kids to be in that competition. She won it at 46 years old against 20-year-olds. She said, I'd pay $500 a month for the Isogenesis alone. In a podcast that Isagenix interviewed her, she said, I'd pay $500 for the Isogenesis. It's half the cost of the Burger King meal, and you're replacing a meal. Just economically speaking, if this is a meal that you look forward to, you love how it tastes, you actually look forward to it, and it satisfies you, there's your meal. That's a great economic move. Just economically speaking, but let's throw the principle of health in there. This is me at 33 years old. This is me at 50. It's because of the principles of health that I obey. The consequences fall where they will. I don't get to choose the consequences. I only get to choose if I'm going to obey the principle or not. Law of gravity, I obey that principle because I can't control the outcome if I jump off the top of my roof. But I can control whether or not I jump off the roof. Look at the difference. If you did this meal every day for a month, $315. If you did this every day, the whole system, it's $164. And they eliminated the wholesale membership. You still get it at the wholesale price. So you get started with this. There's your month supply. You get to pick 2 different flavors because they couldn't fit 30 mils in 1 canister. They divided it into 2. We have chocolate mint, birthday cake, strawberry, vanilla, chocolate, some incredible flavors. And they're all healthy. They're all the same shakes that were in our clinicals. So if you get 2 customers started, I have this recorded in 27 minutes. Everything I shared with you in 27 minutes. It's kind of condensed, but I didn't leave anything out. You share that video with them and they say yes, company will give you $120. $120 cash, they'll give you 30 days to do that. And they'll pay you 6% on every product that's ordered from every person, every time they order it for the rest of your life. All you have to do to qualify is make sure you keep ordering this pack. This is what we call a qualified order for somebody who wants to get paid 6% on every product, every person, every time. That's how we're coming up on $10 million. We'll hit it pretty soon. $10 million. They call me the mechanic to millionaire. And it's not just on the people you enroll, it's every single person in your entire organization that comes in through word of mouth. So I'm getting paid 6% on people that enrolled in my group that I don't know 15 years ago. I get paid every week, pays us every week, the 6%. So they want you to facilitate the awareness of the products and create the healthiest people on the planet. That's their mission. So create 2 customers, get $120 cash. As long as they keep ordering something like this, this is a qualified order for them as well, you stay as a consultant. Only takes 2 people. So if you enroll more than 2 and one of them stops ordering, you're still going to get paid 6% on everybody. Me and my wife became the number 13 income earners in the company as a consultant. No bonuses, just the 6%. So if you teach them to do the same thing, now they get paid 6%, they can make $120, and they just added 4 people to your group that you're going to get paid 6% on. And they'll give you another $450 for, supporting these people, taking the time, energy, and effort to teach them that. Because they won't learn it on their own. You're going to have to share it with them because you're the only one that knows. Just like you're the only one that knows about telomeres now on this level. So that's $570 just for doing that, whether it takes you 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, or 2 months. If everybody just did this right here, if everybody just did that right there, and everybody was ordering this, the company would pay you 6%. Here's what it would look like. And I've taught everybody this, even customers, since I started, because I knew they were going to get results. And so I'd say, well, when you get results, people are going to ask you what you're doing. Let's get your products paid for. Just refer them to me. And then I'll explain it to them and I'll get them enrolled under you. And that's what people did. I replaced my income in 4.5 months. A non-networker. I didn't have any warm market. I built mine through cold market, you guys. I was a mechanic. I'm pretty introverted. Unless I have something to share, I don't talk. And so I taught everybody how to share it with 2 people so they get their products paid for, whether they wanted to or not. I shared it with them. And in 4.5 months, well, before 4.5 months, I did this. I replaced my paper route income. I got up at 4:30 every morning, delivered 200 newspapers. Took me about 2 hours, and I made $600 a month delivering newspapers 7 days a week. This was crazy, making over $600 a month, and it was coming through the auto ships. So I was asleep while I was making that. That revolutionized my mind and my life. This one right here, the 8th level, not changing anything. We're all just ordering this. On the 8th level, I replaced my income at work and went full-time in Isagenix. 4.5 months it took me. I'm very passionate about changing people's lives. Whether I make money or not, I'm passionate about that. I teach an awesome Sunday school class. I don't get paid to do that. I love sharing information that can change people's lives. This just happened to pay me. I don't have any problem with making money, through this process. I'm not making it off of them. They bought the products the same price I did. The company's paying me the 6%. On the 13th level, I couldn't sleep. When I did the math with the calculator after I figured out what they were explaining, they said, take it down to 13 levels, Dave. When I did, I couldn't sleep for 3 nights. I couldn't sleep. You guys, my house had a broken window on it for 3 years. The big broken window on the front of the house for 3 years. When I saw how much I could be making, I knew I was in control of this just through educating people. And I could cause this to happen through word of mouth and people joining me and customers. That's something I was in control of. I had my own automotive shop. I handed out more flyers probably than anybody ever handed out flyers to get my automotive shop going. So I understood this process. This is a fairy tale dream come true life right here on the 13th level. Fairy tale. How do I know? Because I'm living it. I don't ever have to work again. As long as I'm ordering the equivalent of this pack right here, I'm making more in a week and a half than I used to make in a year. And it's growing. Willie's not going to stop if I stop. I get paid on everything Willie produces and his team. But to me, it's about changing people's lives. And doing it God's way, that's the law of abundance. It's called the law of compensation. It's God's law. When you add value to people's lives with what you're offering them and through a transaction, through a money transaction. As long as they're getting value out of it more than they're paying for, you're good to go. Stay involved with something like that. If you're involved with something where people are not getting value out of what they're paying for, get out of it at once. I learned that from Wallace Wattles in The Science of Getting Rich. There's inestimable value. I wanted to die. Willie and I were at a meeting where a girl showed up. She said, I was going to commit suicide. I had total plans all ready to commit suicide. I saw your flyer and it said pain and fatigue at the top. Come to our presentation. She came. A month later, she had a smile on her face. And I said, how many days? How many days before that discomfort to go away? She held up her hand, 4 fingers, meaning 4 días, 4 days. Something that she was going to commit suicide for. This is what we're on. I hope we create more than 320 millionaires by a long shot. I hope you become a millionaire because every dollar is going to represent somebody's life, living the principle of health at a higher level. So this was me. This was my house. That was our car. That's my paper out. That was me at 34 years old right there. And now we're living our dream life. We moved into our dream home in 9 months. Got to raise all my kids in there. And we've been on, my wife, we never would have, well, we went on 3 dream vacations last year. These 2 vacations together cost me more than I made in a year. I made more in a week than these 2 vacations cost me. We went on an African safari for 2 weeks, went to Disneyland, took the whole family, got 4 rooms at the Disneyland Hotel. It was like all expense paid, all inclusive on mom and dad. And those 2 cost me more than I made in a year. I made more in a week. In fact, I made the most I've ever made while I was on that African safari. And then we went on Europe for 10 days. All 3 of those in 1 year. And I used to live my life like this, praying for God to take my life, broken window on my house, a car that smoked out the back when you came to a stoplight. You guys, I want this for everybody. And when you start changing people's lives, you're happy. So I've been happily achieving now for 15 years. That's why I love doing what I'm doing. There's no finish line to this. No amount of money is going to stop me from doing this. The 90-year-old that I showed you in the beginning, he's almost 92 now. He's still presenting because we're changing people's lives, and that's what makes us happy. So just get back with the person that got you here, and you don't have to share it with anybody. It used to be $29 a year for a wholesale membership. They got rid of that. We still have the wholesale price. If you do share it with 2 people, you get $120 cash, and you'll start getting paid 6%. And we pay that every week. So if somebody ordered products during that week, then you would get paid on Monday. So with that, Willie, I'm gonna toss it over to you. I know you have a couple guests on here that we're gonna share some of their personal results. And I'll just, preface you, Willie, with, when I shared this with you, you and Digna said, if it does half of what Dave says, then this is a no-brainer. And now we were doing a meeting in New Jersey where 2 people, because of one of them was trauma, the other one was age, they couldn't walk. They could not walk, you guys. And they're there walking and mingling with everybody. They walked back and forth in front of everybody that knew them. I mean, it's like we're the disciples going from town to town healing people. And we are, but not in the way the disciples did, but through the principle of health and a way that God's given us. God helps those who help themselves, but they got to know about it first. And so we become that catalyst. So Willie, I know I probably went a little longer. I love what I do. It's been 15 years, you guys, and enthusiasm is God working through you. So I hope that for all of you in one way or another. Willie.
Awesome. Dave, can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome, man. I mean, every time I listen to you, I'm because we're reprogramming. A lot of this stuff is new to us, it's relatively new, and we keep learning because, like we were talking about, when we met Jerry over the phone, this is going against the grain. We're talking about cultures. We're talking about, things that kind of pull us to eat certain way, live certain way, and this stuff, I need it because I want to teach my kids this stuff. But, just to remind you really quick, and we're going to share 2 brief testimonies, and then we're going to take any questions that anybody might have. You remember we went to Astoria, Queens. We went to a Zumba studio. They were supposed to be a room full of people. It was like a rain. It was the weather was horrible or whatever the case was. 3 people showed up. 3 people showed up. You did the presentation as if 1,000 people were there. Right?
We were sweating too. It was really hot in that Zumba class.
And I was translating for you with my broken Spanglish, right? And we're like, boom, 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 boom. Yeah. We find out 2 months later that one of the ladies that was there took the isogenesis, took this, sent it over to, she flew with it to Colombia. She flew with it to Colombia. She went to go visit her father. Her father had not been able to get out of the bed for months. And he was like in his 80s. And they were concerned. He wasn't moving. And they were concerned. This is it. He's not moving. This is it. Within a matter of days or weeks.
Yeah. Like, not even 2 weeks.
Not even 2 weeks. They send us a video. He's up and standing and dancing. He's like, woohoo, like this. Dancing. We were like, holy cow. Both of us were in tears. Like, we don't know who's going to be blessed, because when I heard this information, my mom had just passed away 2 years ago. And now I know, my mother's picture sits right above me. I know where she is, and I have peace with that. But I knew immediately, I was like, if I had this information, it's very possible that my mom could not only be here with us today, because she was in a bed for a year after a fight with cancer. She might be with us here today, possible, and younger than, like in great health. And then I said, you know what? I can't be selfish. I need to lock arms and because my mom is where she's supposed to be. you know, but this message is a moral obligation. So really,
a lot of people are dying too early. It's, you know, it's unnecessary suffering.
That's it.
And unnecessary deaths too early. Life is precious, and we learn things while we're here. Every second matters. And some people are dying, but they go on and live for another 15 or 20 years with no quality of life.
Yep. And I'm gonna say this too, and we're gonna get these brief testimonies. But you know, that question mark on the 13th level. You know, I've been in business for myself, thankfully, for the past 16 years. You know, I've retired my wife from a 6-figure income. She worked for Rite Aid Pharmacy for 20 years. She managed $82 million, you know, of revenue for them or whatever, 13 stores. But you know, it didn't matter. You know, she had to punch a clock. She had a limitation, you know, and we were able to build business from home and get her home to become a full-time wife and mother to our children. You know, and that's the kind of freedom that we're talking about, blessing others, being a vehicle to help other people. So that 13th level, when I saw everybody, all you got to do is share it with two, share it with two, share it with two. So you buy the product for yourself, you share it with two people, you get $120, right, the next week. Simple. But that happens on 13 levels if everybody does that. And Dave didn't show the number, but I didn't sleep. You know, $54,000 a month once you get to the 13th level, as long as everybody is duplicating. You know, some may share with 3, some may share with 5, some might not share with any. You know, just kind of, you do the math and it works out. And I was like, let's go. You know, let's go. So, you know, one of the first people, I think actually he was the second person that I called. We became really good friends. He's originally from Spanish Harlem. He's got a heart of gold. You know, I know that I could call this guy, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning, even though for him it'll be 12 o'clock at night because he's in Washington State. But if I called him 3 o'clock in the morning, his time, he'd pick up the phone. He's just that kind of guy, you know, really sharp guy. And, you know, I introduced him to this information, and he's got an incredible testimony. And I just wanted to see if we could unmute Guillermo Padilla. I could do it.
He should be able to unmute himself. We didn't.
You should be able to unmute yourself, Guillermo.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, if you could just, you know, share your testimony briefly. And, you know, we also got Rico that's willing to do that for us as well. Thank you, brother.
Well, not a problem. Hey, my New York homeboys. Yeah, I'm from Spanish Harlem. I love the city of New York. Got some amazing family over there. But the military brought me out here to Tacoma, Washington. I was stationed out here, met my wife. And because women have all the power in the world, I had to stay out here in Tacoma, Washington. That's the shout out to my wife. But yeah, listen, Willie called me. At the time that he called me, I was in a pretty bad state. I was actually in another company using their products, and I was not losing weight. I was actually gaining weight. And I was in the process of calling Willie to say, hey, this is not working out, man. These products are not working. And I was, my state of mind was, you know what, man, you know, Puerto Rican, we eat some great food that's not good for you. Some great food that's not good for you. And I had gained a lot of weight. My daughters came into the house, and my ankles were all swollen. And they go, you know how daughters are. I got 4 daughters. I got 7 children. But my 4 daughters, they came in and they started touching my ankles and go, Papi, your ankles are swollen. And I go, no, they're not swollen. I'm just fat. That's just life. I'm just fat. And I'm, you know, and I got to the point to where I say, you know what? I was depressed about my physical being and what I looked like and what I felt, but I was happy about life. I just said, you know what? I'm going to die eating the food that I love, and I got to die of something. So who cares how much I weigh and whatever. Happily married. So my wife loved me no matter how big I got. So I just gave up, and I'm going to die sitting here on this couch, but I'm going to be well fed and a full stomach. That's my mentality. That's where I was. And Willie said, look, man, I got something to talk to you about. And he was kind of hesitant because we were at another company and the stuff wasn't working. But he says, I got to tell you this. I got to tell you this. I got to be very, very honest. I love you. And I found something that won the Nobel Prize. And I got on a presentation like this. And I got up from that couch and I got excited. I got so excited that I was one of those guys that told Dave, I want everything. And Dave literally had to almost be stern with me and say, calm down. I mean, I was ready to buy the biggest pack that they had. I didn't care because I was to the point in time that my back hurt because I fell out of a truck in the military. I had a terrible accident that they had to take me out of the chopper, and I woke up in the hospital. I was passed out, I think, for 2 days, and it just tore all the muscles, the disc, everything in my back, and I've always had back pain. People always told me that my back pain was from my weight, but it wasn't from that. I mean, I had a very severe accident, and they said, no, you're going to get the Forever Pack, and this is what you're going to do. I guess he sensed that I can follow orders as a military guy, and he got kind of stern with me. And he said, you're going to replace 1 shake. That's it, 1. And get on the Isogenesis. And that's what I did. In my first month, I lost 24 pounds. And I was like, wow, 24 pounds. That was like crazy. And then my second month, we talked about some other stuff that I started doing. He allowed me to do the 2 shakes. And then in my second month, I lost another 23 pounds. And so far right now, I'm proud to say that I've lost over 90 pounds in the 10 months. And let me tell you, I'm still a big guy, but my body has changed drastically. The other day, my son, he's in the military. He just got out. He said he's my trainer, and he made me do these sets of push-ups that in a matter of a 10-minute time frame, the total amount of push-ups was 90 that I had to do. Now, you got to understand this. Before I started this journey, I couldn't do 5 push-ups. And I was able to do those 90 push-ups in that 10-minute time frame. Nice. Okay? My first time that I did it with him. The second time that I did it, because it was 10 sets and then rest and then another 10 sets until you got to 90. My second time, I doubled it. I did 20 on every set.
Wow.
And I'm telling you that my body is changing drastically to the point when Dave said, Guillermo, the day you get a 6-pack, and I go, what? A 6-pack? That's totally unbelievable for me. He goes, no, and every time I talk to him, he laughs because he knows what's going to happen to my body. He said, the day you get a 6-pack, well, you know what? And you guys are going to laugh, but I almost got tears. I can see 1-pack right now.
I love it.
I don't know if you get that. I know you guys are laughing, but I'm not, because here's a guy that was almost 400 pounds. And for me to say that I could see a 1-pack, I never thought that could happen. So Willie, thank you. You changed my life, and my wife has lost over 46 pounds. It's totally life-changing what I can do now. So thank you, guys.
Awesome, brother. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So proud of you and so happy for you, man. And just, obviously Dave knows better than we do because he's been, down the road. But it's, it's unfolding for us. So, we're really grateful for you and that testimony is powerful, man. I know that it's affecting your life. And I know that your children and your grandchildren, that all matters, because they're watching you, and just talking to Jerry briefly, like it makes me aware, like, we have a responsibility to our family and our children, what kind of legacy are we going to leave behind? So to kind of keep things moving quickly, another guy that, another brother from another mother. I mean, this guy is just means the world to me. We've become brothers. We've done business for just about a decade together. He calls me his big little brother, so he's older than me, and I go to him, for a lot of stuff because, my older brother's not around. And I go to him for a lot of stuff, but he's got another dude, just heart of gold. I mean, he's got, a world of experience, been in the Navy, I'll let him tell his story, but he wasn't open to like business or nothing like that. But he's got such a heart to help other people, and he's had a powerful testimony as a result of these products. He, just like me, it's become a moral obligation, to share this information with people. So Rico, you should be able to unmute yourself, brother.
Yeah, Willie, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
I'm trying to get back to the screen. But anyway, good afternoon and God bless to everyone. For me, it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you guys. Here we are in this presentation, and it never gets old because of the life-changing information. And, I hear Guillermo get emotional about his one pack. But, you know, when he talks about being a 400-pound individual in a one pack, he knows that he's come a long way. And, you know, when you came to me, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, when you came to me and spoke to me about the product in July, you know, me working in the medical profession for over 25 years and being, you know, a workout person all of my life, working out is a way of life for me. I told you, you know, I'm not, thank you, I love you, I wish you well with it. I'm not interested in that at all because, you know, none of these products are governed by the FDA, so anybody pretty much can put whatever they want on a label, and you either fall for it and that be it, you know, and go for it. But one of the things that you said that intrigued me, at least got me to think about it, was that the research was based off Nobel Prize winning research, and that's a pretty bold statement. And based on the relationship that I have with you, you know, your integrity and the trust factor that you and I have, when you told me that, I was like, hold up, he's not just going to tell me that just to tell me that. And then the fact that you and Dave showed up at my house here in New York 4 days later, unannounced, pretty much, you know, I couldn't say no. But, you know, I'm a naval veteran and I'm a 9/11 survivor. And in 2013, you know, in 2012, I went to the VA to open a claim up, a benefit claim after being out of the military for 25 years. And I knew that one of my disparities was having a hearing deficiency because I worked with explosives for many years. And I was very surprised that after doing some blood work, my doctor told me, how do you feel? And I was playing 90 games of baseball. I was down in Port St. Lucie getting the Mets ready for spring training and helping them with their training regimen. And I was in great shape, you know. And I said, well, I feel great, Doc. And he asked me this question.
Not breaking up really for you guys.
I said, Doc, I just told him. And I said, you know, Doc, can you hear me?
It's
breaking up a little bit, but it looks like you came back. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe turn your video off and see if that'll help us hear you better.
Okay, what about now?
Yes.
Go ahead and keep trying.
So what he said was, after the third time, he said, I think you should have a seat. And he says, you know, I have reason to believe that you have cancer. You have certain markers or antigens that are kicking up possibility for cancer. And I said, Doc, you got the wrong patient. I just came here to get hearing aids and my monetary benefits. And Lord and behold, shortly right after that, January 13, I was diagnosed with bladder cancer with no signs or symptoms. 7 months later, I had prostate cancer. I was in the operating room over 15 times. And I used to joke about it because I was in the operating room so many times that I was on first name basis with the staff and the doctor. And we used to joke and say, Rico, just leave your resume here because it seems that you like it here so much, right? So, and then I kept trying to think, where did this cancer come from, you know? And immediately I was stationed in Vieques Island, Puerto Rico as a bombing instructor, range master. So I know that explosives and heavy metals are contributors to cancer or carcinogenics, right? But I didn't realize that I spent 3.5 years down in Ground Zero right after 9/11. So I was, the cancer, we really believe that came from occupational exposure for being down there. And I was on many medications, oxycodons for my back and my neck, like Guillermo, a naval injury, and the pain of, you know, so many, you know, being probed so much and cut on. And when I got on the product, I told Willie, listen, Willie, I'm going to take this just basically because you and Dave came here. I don't believe none of this stuff is going to work. And immediately, by 3 days later, I felt some newfound energy. I'm 56 years old next month, and I'm in the best shape of my life in the last 30 years. You know, the best shape of my life. Instead of rappelling down lines, I'm rappelling up 50, 55-foot lines in my backyard, working out consistently. But a big, I know that we can't make any medical claims, but I will tell you this, that my doctors, I check in quarterly with them, and they tell me, whatever you're doing, you need to keep doing. One of the other things that I was exposed to, you know, through the chemicals burning my interior was my esophagus. I couldn't swallow. I was taking 10 pills a day just to keep my esophagus open. Since the first week in August, I used to take 10 pills a day. Since the first week of August of last year, I have not one pill. So I'm going to tell you this, guys. I'm not making any medical claims about the Forever Pack, the Isogenic products, but the only thing I've added to my everyday lifestyle is the Forever Pack. A shake a day, 2 capsules in the morning, 2 capsules in the evening. I really haven't changed anything as far as eating. I started at 175 pounds. I shredded down to 163. I'm 178 pounds now. I've actually gained like 10 pounds of muscle. I bulked up. I had some tailor-made suits recently made that I have to send back to get opened up because I don't fit in them. My wife's a joking, telling me that I'm wearing my little boy's clothes, But guys, I know that we onto something big. I really believe that, like Dave says, everything is revolving around a telomere issue. Like I said, my doctors see me regularly with the exception of the last couple of months because of, the COVID-19. But they're telling me, whatever you're doing, you've been a patient of ours for the last 7 years. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it because you look truly amazing. My blood work is amazing. And I'm feeling great. I'm really feeling great. So I know that we're onto something big. When we talk about the company, I don't dispute anything about the company. I come from a $500,000 company, a $500 million company to an $8 billion company. So when you talk about these millionaires being created on a regular basis, we know why that's happening because the products are moving, and the products are only going to move if they're given the results. So, we talk about R&D, research and documentation. The documentation is there, the research is there, and the results are there. So, guys, thank you for letting me share my testimony. God bless each and every one of you guys, and I look forward to meeting you guys in person and hearing your testimony because your testimony is the most important testimony.
Yeah, absolutely, Rico. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you so much. Now, I know my wife is on here, and I know we've been here for a minute, but I think you guys would miss out if you don't get to hear at least 30 seconds of this amazing woman. So, Digna, if you home? Where you at? What's that background right there?
I'm already in Fiji, so I already got the vacation down. Look at my background. I'm in Fiji already. Oh man, thank you. I'm so in love with my husband today because he just gets more amazing by the day. Like I'm so proud of you, and thank you for inviting me. And it's reminding me when we first met with Dave and we did that Zoom. It was late at night. And my husband and I have been in business for 16 years now. And I've been like, oh my God, is it going to be the one? And I know some of you guys can relate to that. And when we heard Dave, after 14 years in this industry, the energy, the excitement, and I'm like, he's been in it for 14 years? I don't care if half, maybe 10% of what he's saying is true, I'm in. And I was at that point in my life where I'm a professional. I could make a 6-figure income tomorrow if I go get a job. And I was like, babe, I don't know about this type of marketing anymore, but I love the profession. I know what it could do, and I know what it has done for me and my family. And to me, there's no price tag to me being home with my children and being a home wife, being home with my 3 little guys and being homeschooling them. There's no price tag to that. And this company in such a short period of time just changed everything for us. I was falling asleep in the middle of the day. Like I was so tired. My energy was on the floor. I eat healthy my whole life, but I never felt like that. And I'm like, what's going on with me? And then this products, I put them in my body and it changed everything. And I feel like 30 right now. I'm not going to say my age, but it's in the 40s, mid 40s. And I feel like I'm in my 30s right now. I work out 5 days a week. I have so much energy, and it's because of what I put in my body. My body's doing the miracle. So I'm super excited. I'm going to tell you why, Dave. This is some powerful Latinos in this group, and my passion is the Latino market. So los Latinos que están aquí, I'm going to speak a little Spanish because that's my thing. Yo le voy a decir algo a ustedes. Isagenis es lo mejor que yo he visto. Pero lo que he visto es que los latinos estamos llegando. Este es el momento de traer los latinos poderosos a esta compañía y los próximos millonarios, los próximos 300 millonarios de Isagenis van a ser latinos. Y esa es mi pasión, es donde me enfoco con el negocio en el mercado hispano. y con la ayuda de estos grandes líderes que se acaban de unir al equipo, I'm so fired up. I'm so excited. Dave is a new level for the Latino market in Isogenics. I can't wait to see you guys on stage, you know, talking about what you're going to do with your communities and the people that you love and care about. So I'm excited. I love everyone here. Dave, you're amazing. Thank you for what you've done for us. Guillermo, Enrico, those are my brothers. I love them. And I say this again, if just what happened in Guillermo's lives, Enrico's life was the one thing why we got into Isogenics, that's it for me. I'm good. My pay is done. So I know there's so many more lives we're going to change with this product. So I'm excited. Thank you, guys. Thank you for letting me share, Willie. You're awesome. You're amazing.
Awesome. Thank you, baby. So, you know, we're here, you know, Jerry and, you know, and it's, you know, Grandmaster, you guys know him. Most of you guys know him, right? Grandmaster, you know, Fast Feet, Fontanez, 10-time world champion. You know, I just, you know, like I didn't know that when I first spoke to you. I kind of heard, you know, Dr. Jonathan said that. And then I went online. I was like, wow, you know, and then, you know, the connection, you know, that we're having with you is amazing. And I know that, you know, you're excited because you want to help other people. And, you know, you're an entrepreneur. And so both you and Dr. Jonathan, understanding the compensation plan from what we spoke about, you know, you guys basically this first week, you know, you're looking for 10 key people altogether, 10 key people to literally be at the top of what you guys are going to do. So, you know, at this point, you know, I'll turn it over to you guys so you could, you know, you can speak to your guests. We'll hang out and answer any questions that you might have. But we're excited, man. We're really excited because we know the caliber of individuals that you two guys are and the caliber of individuals that you guys are going to bring to the table. And that just simply means we're going to bless more people. We're going to help more people. So I'd like to turn it over to you guys.
No question, if you don't mind, Dr. J. So in a nutshell, everything happens for a reason and purpose, and we know that. And I'm really, really excited and appreciative because we've lost so many people. And it breaks my heart every time that happens. You know, like I said, just a few weeks ago, in a week, I lost 5 of my friends in the martial arts and the hip hop industry, since I'm part of those both genres. And it took me 10 days to recuperate. And I got on a rant, and I'm like, listen, the knives and forks are the murder weapons, guys. If your immune system is intact, then you will be able to still be around. And I said, I'm angry at some of my friends who are not here because their family and friends and myself, you made me cry and you could have prevented that. If you was alive right now, I'll beat the crap out of you, that I was saying, you know, but they know what I meant. So I really honestly feel very blessed, but at the same time committed, man, committed to get the information out so people make the right decisions to be able to be around for generations to come. We have anyone who's ever been an entrepreneur or a business owner that really thinks about things. We want to be the first generation of the old money, but we have to have the proper tools to do that. And this is a vehicle that literally gives us an opportunity to jump on board. This is a runaway train. All we have to do with our part. So I want to thank you guys for being here. And of course, we want to, you know, break records because for whatever it's worth, the way I see things, and I'm sorry, guys, if I offend anybody, but if I go buy a car that's in economy, in the mid, and in the top, you know, if you're gonna do something, might as well do it legendary. What the heck? Somebody has to do it, so why not us? Why not us instead of mediocre? You know, so that's what I want to say, and I salute you guys. Dr. J, what you got for me? We just begun.
I love it, man. I love it. Oh, you're muted.
You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
There you go. No, I said, like Jerry said, we go way back, Jerry and I, you know, we're like brothers and, you know, we want to help a lot of people, you know, change their health and wealth at the same time, you know, and as a physician, you know, you took a Hippocratic oath where you want to be able to help others, you know, and not keep it to yourself. So when you have something as powerful as this and as beneficial as this, you want to be able to spread the word around and tell everyone. And like Willie said, you want to be able to share this with 10 people right away. So those are the people you're going to help out the most right away. So don't waste time. Every minute that goes by is a minute you're losing. You know, so you know, sometimes we procrastinate. We say, oh, I'll leave for tomorrow. And next thing you know, you waste, you know, a month, 2 months go by. And you say, why did I waste so much time? same thing happened to me. I was told about this opportunity a year ago. I think as soon as Willie told common friend of ours, he called me right away and told me, and you know, I wasn't ready. You know, so it wasn't my time. You know, this is the time. You know, so I'm not going to say, oh, I regret it. You know, no. Things happen for a reason, you know, and when God answers your prayers, you know, I've been praying, you know, for something to happen because, you know, I closed my clinic, and now with this coronavirus and everything, I've been home, you know, with the family for the past 2 months. It makes you realize, hey, you know, there's got to be something else out there. And when this is put in front of you and with facts and everything, you know, say, hey, why are you looking around? Why are you trying to find the fifth wheel, you know, the fifth leg on a cat or a dog, whatever? No, you don't have to. It's there. Just go, you know, don't invent the wheel. Just go right ahead and just offer it, you know, and that's what I want. I want everybody to be able to take advantage of it. And within the next couple of months, we'll all be Crystal executive directors, you know, with the company. You know, so that's what we should all be shooting for. It's not hard to do. You know, it's only hard if you make it hard for yourself. You know, it's easy, you know, and we got all the support and everybody here. You know, like Jerry says, you know, I'm not a PhD, I'm a medical doctor, you know, so, you know, I've been around, I'm also a clinical nutritionist too as well. I lived in China for 3 years. You know, I know the Eastern and Western medicine, both sides out of the coins. You know, I've done a lot of surgical work, I've done plastics, I've done a lot of things, you know, out there. So, you know, this something that's there, you know, to help everyone, you know, so let's take advantage of it. You know, we got the great leadership. You know, Dave shouldn't be doing this, you know, and he does it why? Because he does it from the heart, you know. You know, he's a millionaire already, you know. Willie, same thing. His wife, you know, took time from their kids to be here. Why? Because they care about this. You know, they want us to be successful. You know, so you know, don't think twice about it. You say, hey, what do I need to sign? What did you say, Jerry, the day you saw it the first day? I said, Jerry, we're going to call.
Yeah, so I made the decision, not even looking for things, but listen, and it's hard for me to be speechless. Right now, I'm speechless because my mind's thinking how many other people that I know that I love that are in situations of dire need. And whether they do the business or not, they got to get on the product. They got to get on the product. You know, so that's the bottom line. Get on the product and then make a decision afterwards. But I'm tired of crying, man. I'm tired of crying and people. I'm missing these people. I don't want to lose any more people anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
and
definitely.
And Dr. Jonathan, there's so today for the people that are still here and anybody that might have had to jump off or whatever the case might be, we have a promo code that would take 15% off for today, and basically, you know, and just remember, you know, you invite 2 people to do this thing with you, right? For them to try it out for 30 days, 100% money back guarantee. It's going to replace 1 meal a day. You know, best nutrition you can put in your body for sure. It cannot not work in the human body, right? So you purchase the product, $164. You know, you get 15% off today. We got a promo code for people to get 15% off today. Get 2 people to do it with you today, you get $120 back the following Monday. I mean, that's a no-brainer to me. You know, I initially said there's nothing to lose, and then my buddy Rico Nieves says, oh, there's a lot to lose. And Jerry got it right away. There's absolutely a lot to lose because the food is going to kill you. You know, so that's what you're going to lose. You're gonna lose being around. And I think we got a moral obligation, you know, to stick around and to leave a different legacy. So, you know, these guys are committed. You know, they're at the very beginning. This is their first week. They're looking to position, you know, 10 people literally by the end of next week. And you could see how excited and committed they are. They're going to build big organizations. We're going to be building along with them and underneath them. And basically, you guys have the opportunity to take top positions and create leverage for yourself. You know, whether you want to do the business or not, but the opportunity will be there for you to be able to do it. We've seen people that have never made any money in any network marketing company be able to share it with 2 people and then all of a sudden start making money in you know, in this profession. It's just that simple, you know. So I guess that's it. I mean, unless somebody has a question. I know we didn't ask. Yeah, Dr. Jonathan. Yep.
So you're saying that if anybody comes in today with a Forever Pack, if they sign up today, they'll get 15% off?
Yes, we got a promo code that they can get.
That's a no-brainer right there. That's awesome right there. So guys, you know, do what.
Plus there are 2 that come in, Dr. Jonathan. Plus the 2. Yeah, if they bring 2 people in with them today, plus themselves and the 2, you know, can also utilize that code.
Correct. So what I was going to say is use the American way, other people's money, the plastic, the Visa, MasterCard. You got 30 days to be able to pay it back. Other people's money.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So let me just let me be clear, guys. So that's 15% off the 164, and then you still have the $29.99 to become an actual business partner, right?
To become an associate, correct.
To be an associate. So just like that, so you guys completely understand. So it is it's 50% off of 164, which is a great deal. And in addition to that, and that's if you just want to be a customer. But if you want to get into the business to be able to earn some income,
right?
And that'll be $29.99 one time for the year. And by the way, just so you know, that gives you a whole business in a box, right? And your business in the box comes with your online business. So now when someone says to you, how's your business doing? Well, online is doing phenomenal. Offline, I'm still having problems, but online is great.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Right. Yeah, we're seeing an upsurge right now. We're actually doing better right now. People are listening. There's a sense of urgency and the immune system, all of that. There's an upsurge right now in my business. I think Isagenix as well, but I know we are.
Yeah. You can't find vitamin C anywhere. Everybody all of a sudden is health conscious because they're dying.
Yeah.
Come on. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yep.
God bless.
Hey, I'm here for you guys. I'm not just here because Willie knows me. I'm here because you know me, all of you. And those of you that I don't know yet, I'll come to know you if you reach out. I mean, this is what I love to do, and I don't care who I do it with, you know? And so I just appreciate that you guys have shown up.
Anybody have, I'm sorry, Dave.
No, that's it.
Anybody have a quick question that we might be able to answer for you guys?
No, it's pretty simple. That's why.
It is. It really is. Most of the times, people don't have questions.
No.
You know what the biggest question is, Jerry? They say, "What flavor shakes do you have?"
Well, listen, that French vanilla one is like arena, bro. What? Yo, I'm telling you right now. And I hooked it up with the blueberries and the blackberries and the strawberry, and I had too many berries. But anyhow, man, yeah, it definitely tastes good. Yeah, so
good stuff, good stuff. So just get back to Jerry or Dr. Jonathan, and definitely order your products today. Why pay more, pay less, and get positioned, at the top of what they're definitely going to do, and at least you'll have the opportunity to have some leverage if you do decide to do the business. You also, if you understand network marketing, you know what I'm talking about. So. Just excited. And actually, just in case, in an hour, it's not going to be Dr. Dunsky. It's actually going to be Jojo Bennington. There's going to be a live presentation. It's going to be about 45 minutes long. Jojo Bennington is an Isagenix millionaire. She used to own tanning salons, so she shut down her tanning salons and she went full-time in Isagenix. And she's an Isagenix millionaire. She was actually trained or she learned with Dave and trained by Dave. She was trained by Dave to do the presentation. So it's about 45 minutes. You can get that information. You can invite people. If they want to get onto a live Zoom, there'll probably be like 50 to 100 people on that Zoom, which also provides some additional social proof. So other people can see, it's not just us, this small group,
What's the code? What's the promotional code? So I can put that.
The promotional code is Digna. You remember it offhand?
Is it the 2020?
It's something 20. She's
got the promotional code for enrollments.
Yeah.
It is ISACADEMY 20.
Oh, ISA Academy.
MY 20. I send it to you, Jerry. Jerry, you should have it.
Okay.
I just sent it to you.
ISA Academy 20, right?
All right, good. I'm going to share that with my buddy Joey Llanos there, so he saved some money. Congratulations, Joey.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry to my girlfriend Lourdes. Sorry, honey.
Joey, congratulations for coming on board with us today.
That's my man. So that's a legendary DJ. So when we need the music, that's the man. I don't know if we can afford him yet, but that's the man. House music all my life. Say what? Oh. I'll house you. All right, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Gladys. Thank you, Dr. Philo, for being online today.